What's going on, everybody? Welcome on in to One TS Daily right here at One True Sport. I am your host, Zack Heydorn from Brass Ring Media. I'm on the road. I am on the road today, out and about in the city of Chicago, downtown. You guys can get a little view here of the Chicago River. Bam! Look at that! Look at that beauty! It's a gorgeous day. Hopefully, you guys are having a great day out there as well. And we've got a lot of stuff to get to today. Big night for AEW. Going to talk a little NXT, and then obviously take your questions and take your thoughts and take your comments. And that's what we do. We're live here on the One True Sport YouTube channel every single Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday with One TS Daily, and we are here to talk to you the news of the day, the news of the week, previewing shows, reviewing shows, all sorts of stuff is done right here at One TS Daily. So hit subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet to our channel. Please do so. We've got some really good stuff and some really strong content that goes up all throughout the week from hosts like me, but also some of the biggest legends in the professional wrestling industry, period, and bar none. Guys like Arn Anderson, guys like Rob Van Dam, guys like Kurt Angle, they all have spots here on our network, and you have access to them by just subscribing on YouTube. It's that easy. So hit subscribe. If you're watching this on YouTube right now, if you could like the video, like the show, that'd be great. It helps us in the algorithm. Yeah, you know how that goes. I talk about it today. You know how that goes. It helps us out greatly. So thank you in advance for that. And also you can head over to OneTrueSport.com and check out what it's like to be a One True Sport member, even more access to big time wrestling stars that I just mentioned. But also we've got a merch store there. We've got all of our membership tiers where you can see what is what and how you'd like to get into becoming a One True Sport member. There's 3 different price points. So we try to make it as affordable and as accessible to anybody who wants it. So make that you. Give it a go. I think you'll really enjoy what we do. So with that being said, I've got the live chat is open and it's rocking. We got RG Photography here saying I'm going to AEW tonight. Very cool. It's just a couple hours south of me, RG. So hopefully you enjoy it. I think it's going to be a good show without question. I think it's going to be a fun night at the office, and it should be an important show for AEW given the success of All In. I think, and thank you, RG, for listening. I do have the live chat open, so jump on in if you guys want to make a comment or ask a question. I do have the super chats open as well if you guys are able to make a contribution there. And with that, that'll bump you up. Make sure that we read your comment or question on the air, and also helps the show out. Any contribution level helps. And we do thank you in advance for that. So, as I mentioned, tonight's a big night for AEW. They, habitually, I think, come out of pay-per-views a little soft when it comes to TV shows. A lot of it is unfocused. A lot of it is, I don't want to say resting on their laurels because that's not what I mean. But I mean, it's just kind of like another show rather than a chance to make a good impact with a lot of intrigue around the product. And I think you have that here. I think you have a moment where you're coming out of a pay-per-view and, there's some momentum for the first time in a little bit. You have new world champions on the men's and women's side of things. You have a brand new debut in Ricochet. You have different storylines to talk further about. MJF losing the international championship. So there's a lot of follow-up that you can do to take advantage of the momentum that you set into motion with the All-In show. And I think that's the challenge here for AEW. Can they sustain that momentum? This is what's currently set for the show. Let me grab my notes here. So currently we've got AEW World Champion Bryan Danielson is going to address his future. Swerve Strickland is going to speak for the first time since losing the AEW World Championship. Mariah May is going to have a World Championship celebration. Ricochet will make his singles debut against Kyle Fletcher. Hangman Page is going to fight Tomohiro Ishii. Jamie Hayter is going to wrestle Harley Cameron. And then we'll have a big AEW style, multiple person tag team match. Chris Jericho, Big Bill, Brian Keith, and Roderick Strong against Hook, Orange Cassidy, Mark Briscoe, and Kyle O'Reilly. On paper, that's the exact show I think you want to have. So big props to AEW on that. You are going to feature Bryan Danielson. Well, you should. I'm really curious to see what sort of message he has as far as his future goes. I mean, we know that he's, I guess publicly out of contract with AEW. We know that he said that, he's going to be more of a part-time wrestler. He doesn't have to fully retire because he won the world title. He beat Swerve Strickland. He is the world champion. So this is an important moment for Bryan Danielson to kind of set into motion what his title reign is going to be all about, and what his title reign is going to feature, and how he's going to go about being champion, given the circumstances that he mentioned in regards to his family and his daughter. I'm interested to see what they do with this. And I think, honestly, that Danielson kind of has to walk a fine line. He doesn't want to be – he can't come across seeming like, to heck with what my daughter wants, right? Like that wouldn't paint him in a good light. But at the same time, he is the world champion now. And I think you want to see him have a moment where he, is able to flex his muscles that way and be that on a big level. And that's the line that he's walking. If it's me, I'd like to see Bryan Danielson just kind of own the moment and own being world champion and own being the best, and don't hedge on it. Just say, hey, look, I won the world title, and, I talked with my family after winning. They were very happy for me. They want to see how long I could ride this out. So, I'm going to be world champion until I lose this title. And then, that just defines his current run, that he's going to be a fighting champion. He's going to take on all comers. He's going to wrestle anybody, that's put in front of him. But it also puts an endpoint on things too, where it's like, when he loses that title, okay, now he goes into part-time mode. And so I think that gives fans an expectation. It's something to, something to look forward to, something to kind of invest in with him, and go on that journey with him. And so much of the Bryan Danielson stuff has been the audience on his side, being out there with him, attaching themselves to his ride. And I think that if done properly, Bryan Danielson has an opportunity to do that again here. We got Liam in the chat. What's going on, Liam? Liam says here, do you think Nigel McGuinness and Danielson could have a one-off match? Absolutely, I do. And frankly, look, Bryan Danielson has two challengers already set up at some point. Darby Allin is going to wrestle for the title at the Arthur Ashe show at Grand Slam in September. Christian Cage earned an opportunity at the world title by winning the Casino Gauntlet Battle Royal at All In. So it's just really a matter of when those matches are going to happen. I could see tonight, Liam, going three different ways, really. I could see it going, Bryan Danielson's out there, he cuts a promo, that's it. He leaves the ring. I could see it where Bryan Danielson cuts a promo, Christian Cage comes out and says, hey, I want to use my opportunity at a title shot, and I want it to be at All Out, because we do need a challenger for Danielson at All Out. You have to assume he's going to be wrestling on that show. If they want to capitalize on the momentum that Nigel McGuinness has right now, I think you could have him come out tonight on the show and challenge Danielson to a match at All Out. So it all depends on like when they're going to like when they're going to green light these different matches that they have scheduled. I think Nigel is a good match to go to, provided he's healthy enough to do so. You know, I mean, it's one thing to kind of work like a battle royal like he did. It's another thing to have, you know, a 15, 20-minute main event against Bryan Danielson, one of the best in the world, right? So, you know, I think you want to keep that in mind if you're him. You don't want to put yourself in harm's way any more than you need to. Would it be a fun match? Absolutely. Liam says that's one match I'd love to see. Yeah, you're not the only one. I think there's a lot of people that would love to see that match. And, you know, can Tony Khan make it happen? I think that's a good all-out match, honestly, because you don't need to build it all that much, right? I mean, you do need to spend some time these next 2 weeks talking to the broader audience about who Nigel McGuinness is and why he's important to Bryan Danielson and all that. You have to put that out there. But outside of that, though, like, it's a match that kind of writes itself. You know, you tell the history, it's done, and you're there, and you can go to that match and you can do it, and you know everything is what it is. So I like it for that reason. Christian Cage also works in a similar vein. Like, everybody knows who Christian is. He's a heel. He's got a title shot. Okay, you'd go with it, and Danielson just beats him. So I think they're going to start tonight down one of those two roads to get Danielson to his match at All Out. But yeah, I'm with you. I think Nigel McGuinness, if you can pull it off, that's a heck of a match to put on pay-per-view just a couple weeks after, you know, the biggest show of the year in All In. All right, so then we got to hear from Swerve tonight too, and this will be really interesting in a totally different way. Swerve lost the title. He put a lot on the line. He still wants to come across as a babyface, right? I don't think, you know, in watching that match back, and I talked about this a lot on our Brass Ring Media show, and you can check us out on Brass Ring Media right now for free. Just subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're a bit of we take like a longer form approach to how we cover professional wrestling business. So, you know, keep that in mind. But if you like this show and you want even more in depth on these topics, Brass Ring Media is the shop that I run. It is we do written work on our Brass Ring Media Substack newsletter that drops every day, and we've got live shows on our Brass Ring Media YouTube channel every day. So subscribe on YouTube, subscribe on Substack to get the full run of our free content. We have membership for our members, and there's some really fun perks there too. But our two free platforms, that's where it's at. That's where you can kind of get in the door with Brass Ring. So thank you in advance for that. But anyway, so Swerve, like what I talked about was like Swerve did some like pretty twisted things, you know, in the match with Bryan Danielson, and he said some twisted things in the lead up to the match. But even in doing so, there's just something about like Swerve's presence and tone during that match that didn't scream to me that like, all right, he's a heel fully now. He did some heel things, and you know, I thought had he wrestled a match differently and like struck a different tone, he could have come out of that match as a heel. But given the fact that Hangman Page is still hovering around, you know, in a major way, I think that he's firmly planted as a babyface still. So he's got to come out, and we got to hear from him talk about how like losing the title has impacted him. I'm sure he's going to pivot quickly to Hangman Page. You know, Hangman Page didn't directly, didn't directly impact the finish of the match, but he got involved and he was a distraction. And so my guess is we see Swerve address that head on, and in a way that's like, hey, we're done here. We need to put an end to this feud, and let's do it at All Out. And so I expect to see some kind of major stipulation match constructed tonight by Swerve as the babyface challenging Page. That would be my guess is what we see from him. Raise your hand if you're excited for the Mariah May World Championship celebration. This is going to be fun. She has a chance here in this to show even more of a presence as a character. She has a chance to kind of solidify herself as a top star of the women's division. And I think all eyes are going to be on this. Like, this has to be a home run. New champion coming out of a great match at All In, coming out of a great storyline, one of the best world title storylines in the history of the company, both on the men's side and the women's side. I think that's in play. And now that she has the ball, she has the world title, she's got to go. And she's got to be, the kind of the shoulder that Tony Khan can put the women's division on to carry it into the future. And I think she's going to set the tone with that. She has to set the tone with that tonight on the show with this segment. It has all the makings to be a classic for her if done right. And so I'm really interested to see, what they do. Question around it, is Tony Storm going to get involved? Will they have a rematch at All Out? Will they run it back that fast? I don't know. I mean, on one hand, you could, because I think people are interested in seeing a rematch, just because of how popular the feud was. On the other hand, I mean, it was a pretty clean loss for Tony Storm. I mean, she doesn't have a lot to hang on to as far as deserving a rematch or calling for a rematch. And that is going to be the issue that they have in terms of trying to paint, another picture so soon after All In. Does it make sense for her to have a world title shot, a rematch? Not really. So, but, they could certainly have an angle tonight where it would. And, we'll have to see which direction they go. If not, they got to pivot to a new challenger, and so look for the habitual, first title defense stars like Karshida is going to be on the list for Mariah May, that level, Nyla Rose, Tony Khan goes to those women, when he needs to for new champions. And if that's our two options for All Out, I think I'd rather see the rematch. I really would. I mean, we've seen Hikaru Shida in too many meaningless women's world championship matches. So that would be my vote if I was voting here. Last but not least, as far as my official preview goes here, is Ricochet is going to make his debut against Kyle Fletcher. I don't know that he could ask for a better opponent than Fletcher, right? Like, he's perfect. I think he's going to be a guy. Fletcher's a guy that can keep up with Ricochet, and he's a guy that can take and sell all the Ricochet pace and moves. Like, this is a perfect match. It gives Ricochet a good opponent to shine with, but doesn't, use one of the bullets in the gun of like a major match to have with Ricochet. This is Ricochet versus Will Ospreay on short notice. This isn't Ricochet against Takeshita or Ricochet against, any of the top stars. So this is a good first singles match for him. Really smart on the part of Tony Khan. Good booking, and just, I think, a really smart way to introduce him further into the AEW ecosystem. Obviously, I think Ricochet gets the win here. I wonder what he's going to do at All Out. Is he going to have a match? I mean, maybe they do like turn around quick and do Ricochet versus Takeshita at All Out. I mean, he is flirting with the Don Callis family here, and I think Takeshita's still in that. Nobody, who knows really? But that could be a match that they save for short notice pay-per-view. But either way, I think it's good use of Ricochet. I think it's good to put him on the show right away. And that's what they're doing here. And you can say that about all these top angles. You got all the top angles coming out of All In, minus MJF and Will Ospreay, promoted and hyped here. Danielson, Swerve, Ricochet. You've got the Hangman match against Ishii, obviously a match that I think he's going to win. So, like, you got your bases covered, and I wouldn't rule out that we don't see MJF or Will Ospreay. So, this is a solid card, top to bottom. We will review the show tomorrow right here at 1TS Daily, so don't miss it. 11 Eastern, right here on the One True Sport YouTube channel. Big Boss Brad in the chat says, "What should Mina in the story of Mariah? What should Mina do in the story of Mariah and Toni Storm? Should she get a title shot?" That is an option. Good call, Boss Brat. They certainly have that friendship love triangle to play up at some point. They haven't really had May and Shirakawa cross paths officially since Mariah May turned on Toni Storm. So you can go to that interaction if you want. And that wouldn't be a terrible match on pay-per-view at all, because you do have that built-in storyline there. It doesn't need 6 weeks to build. Like, you could get there in 2 weeks, which is all that they have. So I would not rule that out. And I think she's obviously a good opponent for Mariah May. But she's an opponent that makes sense. So good call on that, Boss Brad. I think Mina should be a babyface here. It should be opposite Mariah May, not next to her. Mariah May needs to stand out on her own right now. She needs to be her own woman and her own top star. And I think you just want good opponents opposite her, not next to her. Thanks for the comment, Boss Brad. Appreciate you, man. All right, couple of news nuggets. Where's the WWE Performance Center going to be? Yesterday, there's some conflicting reports that first from WrestleVotes that the Performance Center will be moving to Las Vegas from Orlando, and then another report from Sean Ross Sapp saying that that's not going to happen, but it's an example of the type of continued combining of resources that TKO Group might be, doing with WWE and the UFC. So there's nothing definitive here. What is definitive here is, and what I just want to chat about for a bit, is that we're still at the very early stages of this merger into TKO Group. I mean, it's been less than a year. Yes, they've had some consolidation with workforce, but the consolidation of resources is coming. It's not an accident that NXT show happened at the Apex, a few months back. It's not. Like, they did that to see, hey, can we pull it off? Does it look good? And if we had to do it on a weekly basis, could we? I'm sure that's part of this. They are going. I mean, look, it's a major company. We know this. They're going to look for efficiencies, and that's going to come on a workforce level, but also, as I said, a resource level. And so when I heard this news about the Performance Center moving, it's kind of like, all right, it makes sense. I mean, it makes perfect sense to move that to Vegas, link it up with what they're doing at the UFC training facility and the Apex there, and go. Like, I think that it's a little jarring, because you've seen, like, WWE, instead of being this standalone entity, be an entity that is a part of something bigger. And it's weird to see that, because it's just nobody's used to it. But they are that now. They are a part of a whole. And so whatever comes along with that is going to impact WWE. Liam says you're testing the waters for definite. Yeah, it's not an accident. Not an accident. They didn't do it for just to just have some fun, right? They did it for a reason. So not surprising to see. And this is not like, I know that the reports were shot down that it's moving, but I don't think that means that it won't move. It might not move now. It might not move in 2 years, but I think at some point you're going to see that facility used for WWE stars as well as UFC stars. Even if they've got two. They got something on the West Coast there or near it, something, down in Orlando. Like, they've got two facilities now where they can train more people, get more people in, get more people through the system faster. That's important. And so this signals to me that more change is on the horizon. guys, with WWE. And yeah, it's going to be a little odd, but it does make sense when you think about it. It really does. All right. That's that. We'll wrap up. We'll wrap up there. Tomorrow, right here on 1TS Daily, we will do a full rundown and review of AEW Dynamite. So plan on joining us 11 Eastern. Once again, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel here, please do. Like the video if you're watching on YouTube. It helps us out, guys. I know I don't want to be that guy of like, hey, like the video, but it does really help. It helps a lot. So please do. And we certainly would appreciate that without question. Thank you so much in advance. If you haven't checked out onetruesport.com yet, head there right now and check out our membership options. Also, check out Brass Ring Media. It's my little shop, long form analysis of professional wrestling. Every day we update our Substack. Every day we update our YouTube channel with live content and new content and fresh content, current event-based stuff. We'll be live today at 3 Eastern. So, yeah, give us a go on that, and I think you'll be happy that you did. Thanks so much to everybody in the live chat, Big Boss Brat, Liam, RG Photography, who left comments, and everybody else who tuned in. Thank you. Appreciate you very much, and we'll catch you tomorrow right here at 1TS Daily, 11 Eastern. I'm Zack Heydorn. We'll talk to you guys really, really soon. See ya.